Hi guys, this is Lada from astrolada.com and I'm here with your weekly horoscope from the 20th till the 26th of August with a focus on the full moon in Pisces, a very magical one under the influence of Archangel Gabriel. We'll talk about that, who is the messenger of good news. And this time, like Archangel Gabriel, I will be the bearer of good news for you as well because things are starting to improve and don't we need that? Oh my God, this was a summer from something like a movie. It was an intense summer, life changing for many people, for others, just damn frustrating. There were two powerful eclipses, one of the biggest in the 120 years that affected some people very strongly. We had Mars and Mercury retrograde, and they're still retrograde. Just today, Mercury is turning direct. And of course, when planets are retrograde, especially Mars and Mercury, things don't go according to plans. So we get frustrated. We have expectations and a vision about how your summer's gonna be, or if you're in the south node, the south part of the world, how your winter, and nothing works as expected. So we've been pulling out our hair, getting frustrated, but those planets uh, have a purpose. The purpose of retrograde planets and all those difficult configurations, but particularly retrograde planets, is to teach us, to push our limits. And we still have one more week of Mars being retrograde, and Mars actually, before it changes its direction, becomes twice more intense as well. Mars retrograde is already 3 times stronger than a direct Mars, which means that all things ruled by Mars have been, escalating in the last couple of months, like stresses and frustrations. But Mars is there to teach us to overcome troubles and to face our fears. So, what are we learning, and what have you learned this summer? For me, it was that I can cope with stress. I mean, like, yes, I might. It was painful, it was difficult, but then also that I can overcome certain things that I was fearful for a long time about, that during Mars retrograde you can't avoid them anymore. You face them and you tackle them, you know. But of course, it came at a price, but still, I feel strong as a result, even though I'm totally exhausted. And hopefully, this Mars retrograde had some positive effects for you, even though the negatives can be like anything from hurts, burns, bruises, infections, Mars rules, all those things, even pests, mosquitoes. It's been crazy mosquito this year. Like, people from around the world were writing to me, pests were on the rise this summer. Crazily, because Mars was so intense. Mars was retrograde, it rules all pests. So we've got everything: bites, cuts, burns, sunburns, skin conditions. All those things were happening in my family to one baby. Of course, the baby ruled by Mars, and that changed all our plans, and bruises, torn muscles, absolutely everything you can imagine. So, how was Mars for you guys? I hope it was easy on you, but also, in some respect, it pushed us to start working out. It showed me that I can cope in more challenging and extreme conditions. It forced me to look for different solutions and alternative routes that are better, basically. And Mercury retrograde, that was another nightmare of its own. But with all many miscommunications, delays in contracts, like the trade system in Bulgaria collapsed because some hackers stole information from the banks. So now many companies don't have to return their money to the banks. That happened during Mercury and Mars retrograde. Mars is villains, or uh, people that do harm, and Mercury is anything to do with technology. And basically, I couldn't do any business for about 10 days when this was happening, but 33 billion are gone from the Bulgarian system. Basically, companies don't have to return to the banks. Something like that happened. Of course, that was targeted. But, also many frustrations. I had plans to record videos for all of you when I came to Bulgaria, and I was like, my parents gonna help, and I haven't been able to work at all. So Mercury retrograde, your plans never work out as you expected. Actually, it might be for better, but still it's frustrating because you have one vision for what you want to do and something else, and contracts and business complications and delays. But again, Mercury teaches us, its purpose when it's retrograde is to teach us to plan and organize better. I said, oh, we're going to the other end of the world with a newborn and a toddler, with no plan when I was even staying. And I'm like, okay, I deserve this. I had to learn to plan better. And now I'm much more efficient and organized because Mercury retrograde showed me the consequences of chaotic consequences of not planning well. So it's been fun time. Sorry if I'm going about myself a little bit. I like to give examples, real life examples, how things work so you can apply it into your own life and know what to expect. So, and of course, as an astrologer, I never listened to my own advice, and I left on a Mercury retrograde, Mars square Uranus, and that was the journey from hell. I don't know how they didn't put us in jail with screaming babies, throughout, but everything is fine. We're good. We've pushed our boundaries, and we know we can tackle more difficult situations, and we feel stronger. So I hope the same is happening for you, despite all the stress, as Mercury is turning direct, though. So already from the beginning of this week, the 20th till the 26th, business complications, communication start improving. If there was some miscommunication, so words that were said that were too intense, and some problems, especially in relationships, that escalated during the Mercury retrograde, these things are starting to resolve. These problems are starting to solve. If there were some delays with business, with contracts, with anything to do with work, with managing, with organizing, everything starts moving direct and improving. And hopefully now you are, after this Mercury retrograde, better organized and better, more efficient, let's say. Okay, and then so one thing is relieving us, and Mercury starts going direct basically in Leo, which means that for every sign, some area of their life starts improving. So if you're Pisces, Leo is in your uh, sixth house, so maybe your work conditions start improving and becoming easy. If you're Aquarius, Leo is your seventh house, some contracts, agreements can move forward, or if there's some complications in relationships, business, personal, with clients, they start improving. Then if you're Capricorn, Leo is in your eighth house. Is it Capricorn? Cancer? Yes. So if there were some complications with taxes, mutual finances, resources that belong to others, uh, inheritances, insurances, those things start improving again. Those complications, if there are some miscommunications about them, or some destabilization of resources, and especially mutual resources, business or personal, they start improving. If you are Sagittarius, then it's in your ninth, is it? Yes, your ninth house that the Mercury goes direct. So from this week onwards, any complications about faraway travels, about higher education and studies, about arranging anything to do with higher education, anything to do with pre-qualification, anything to do with foreign countries, companies, people that are far away from you as well, start improving. If you are Scorpio, especially rising, then the eclipse, then Mercury is moving direct in your 10th house. So things connected to your career, to your reputation, to authority figures, to institutions, to bosses, they start improving if there were such complications. If you're Libra, then it's in your 11th house. Anything connected, any complications connected to friends, to social connections and relationships, to socio-economic goals, to gains and earnings as well, long-term goals as well. If there are some complications, those start improving again and moving forward. And if you are Virgo, then this is your 12th house, that Mercury starts to move direct. So anything connected with matters, something to do with faraway countries as well, the 12th house, anything to do with miscommunications, losing, especially the 12th house, Mercury retrograde, people can break, lose any kind of devices, electronics, or information can be lost and garbled up and confused in some way. But now Mercury starts moving direct, so this all improves, and things starts coming back to normal. If there was any confusions with plans, with organization, of course, especially around the 12th house, which tends to be about confusion, this improves. If you're Leo, of course, it's happening. Mercury goes direct in your first house, so your whole life probably was a bit thrown chaotically in the last 2-3 weeks, with surprises like retrograde planets give us, with needing to put 3 times more efforts for something, and of course some stresses, and maybe things reversed in your life in some way. Well, now they'll reverse in a positive direction. Things starts going according to expectations. You're not gonna be bombarded by surprises all the time. And I'm a Leo moon, so we actually bought property. Wow. Mercury retrograde there, the moon is property home, and my whole life was turned upside down. And the moon is family as well, so all things of unpredictable things with the family. And finally, when Mercury moves direct, actually we can sign the contract, because till then we literally could not, funny enough. And this is how Mercury retrograde works. Now it's turning direct, everything's gonna, and situations in your whole life, depending if it's your moon in Leo, it's a personal family life that starts straightening out, or property, if it's your sun, in regards to your career and goals and directions in life, and in regards to important male figures, if it's your ascendant, your whole life basically starts moving in a positive and, let's say, in a more predictable and easy direction. And you've learned some valuable lessons, like we spoke earlier, I'm sure. And if you're Cancer, then it's happening in your second house. Mercury is moving direct. So if there were any complications with resources, finances, and money, this starts improving. If your financial situation was destabilized, it will strengthen again. It will become more predictable. If you had to work hard in regards to something material and tangible, you can start seeing the results now. And if you're Gemini, it's happening in your third house that Mercury is starting to move direct. So any complications with teammates, playmates, workmates, people in your everyday environment, neighbors, siblings, relatives, if there was some stresses there, or anything to do with trips and itineraries and planning and organizing, management, you know, all those start improving. All those stresses disappear. Anything to do with commercial business as well, those stresses disappear and things start moving predictably. If you're Taurus, it's in your fourth house. Any surprises and kind of complications that were happening in regards to property, home, family, vehicles, they start improving. And if you are Aries, this time you're last, guys. Mercury is just turning direct. Then Mercury is going direct in your fifth house. Any complications in your romantic life? Oh my God, me as an Aries, I had such plans for a romantic life when we come here. Believe me, we haven't been able to sleep in the same bedroom. So any complications or delay or surprises or miscommunications with romantic partners, matters of the heart, or with creative projects, if you had to work extra hard or to complete something, now it starts moving forward, or you see the results, so they're no longer delays. Okay, but we have this week, so you see, we have good news already. Things are starting to ease and to become weaker, to become more predictable, smoother. And even though throughout the summer there were some crazy transits and aspects and eclipses, we've been protected, because almost the whole summer Jupiter and Neptune held the trine, and the whole August, which was so intense, Jupiter and Neptune held the trine, and it continues this week as well, while Saturn and Uranus held the trine. Trines are harmonious aspects that help us basically. And especially by such big important planets, it's almost like the universe is never too cruel to us, never gives us beyond what we can handle, and it throws us some things and wrenches in the whatever in the does, but it also gives us a way out. The trines, the harmonious aspects, are ways out to help us. And in my video for August, the monthly ones, because I speak about each sign, how those trines are helping each one of you. They are active, especially powerfully this week from the 20th till the 26th. Please check the August monthly videos to see how you can benefit, because they become so potent now. And some really healing or very supportive influence is going to come into your life. I'm not going to repeat for each sign each of those aspects how is going to help, because I've done videos for that. Just listen to your ascendant or sun or moon sign about that. But now is the peak time this week, this harmonious energy, so things really start becoming easier. And it all culminates with a great trine in Earth during the full moon in Pisces. Great trine is when planets are 60 degrees from each other. They form, I'm not making an Illuminati sign, I'm not an Illuminati, but they make like a pyramid, like a equilateral triangle. This is the most harmonious, and actually that's how God is shown, Now, of course, some negative people take that sign and turn it around just like the Black Lodges do. But the true God is a Trinity, and that's exactly what basically a Grand Trine looks like that. Here I have it. I don't have many good conditions currently, so uh, up, I have to show you. I have to do with whatever resources I have now. But you see this triangular, and it's formed between Saturn, Uranus, and the Sun, basically. And this is active towards the end of this week and the start of next week. So the towards on the 24th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and actually after that for 2 weeks, when there is a full moon, the influence of the planets during the full moon get kind of imprinted into us and influences us for the next 2 weeks, till the next new moon. So this grand trine will carry its influence for 2 weeks after that. Starting from, I would say you start feeling the influence from the middle of this week, especially very strong towards the end. But after that, for 2 weeks, it's imprinted and it's active. So you see the triangle, the perfect triangle that's formed between, this is amazingly healing energy. It's in earth sign, so it's very stabilizing and grounding. And we need the stabilizing influence because of all the madness and craziness that we went through in the last 2 months. And for each sign, it will affect this grand trine in a different way. For the fire signs, which is Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, the grand trine in the earth signs happens in their material houses, so there can be stabilization and more things going easy in regards to their career or in regards with money, with resources, in their conditions of living and environment. But it's felt tangibly. The environment comes down, stabilizes, become predictable, stable. So it's materially in regards to your career, in regards to material things, financial things for the fire signs. For the air signs, which is Aquarius, Gemini, and of course Libra, this grand trine in Earth that's going to be active for 2 weeks is affecting you in your actually in your emotional houses, in the second, the eighth, and the fourth houses. So if you're air sign, what you can benefit through for 2 weeks ahead, and I'm talking especially because if your rising is there, but you can benefit strongly from anything to do emotional. They can be emotional stabilization. If you're all over the place, psychologically, emotionally exhausted, drained, there is a healing happening, very grounding healing for you that will take 2 weeks to complete, but it's kind of going to settle your feelings, your emotions, your personal life. It's going to settle complications with your home and family life, with your private life, with your feelings, and actually heal some pains and wounds, because those houses are connected to that. And if you are an a water sign, Scorpio, if you are Scorpio rising or Cancer or Pisces, of course, this is happening in your social houses. Uh, that means that there will be stabilization of your relationships, personal, interpersonal, business. Some help, some tremendous help can come to you from others, asking you, receive. This grand trine is giving, it's just things manifest magically. So anything to do with relationship, personal, there is stabilization, strengthening, and these people can help in some material way even, because it's in earth signs. And of course, if you are an earth sign, it's happening in your signs, guys. If you're Taurus, if you're Capricorn, if you're Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, especially, the earlier ones, because the grand trine is happening in the first 10 degrees, but still, for every earth sign, well, this is tremendous because it's happening in the first, fifth, and ninth houses for you, which is about inspiration and you. These are the you houses. So you can get clarity and stability in regards to your vision for your life, in regards to your goals. You can get strength, and you kind of will become much more zen, much more stable, and things will just magically happen. You can manifest some dream now. The universe can help you, take you to a place that will, because the first, fifth, and ninth houses are called Dharma houses, which is the houses which are what we're meant to do here, that give us inspiration. They're the inspirational houses. So you can receive some powerful inspiration in regards to what you're supposed to do, or in regards to just making you feel more like yourself, making you feel more stronger and more inspired and more, I don't know. It's like doors open for you, you benefit the most basically. But somehow you do something, somehow you do something that stabilizes you, that creates even material stability for you, because it's earth signs, and that sets you on the right path. The Dharma houses is the right path of what we're meant to do here. The Dharma houses are the houses of joy, because when you're doing what you're supposed to do, when you're following your Dharma, you're truly joyful. So something can happen to give you clarity about your Dharma, to anchor you into your mission in life, or to help you with some mission or vision or goal of yours. Okay, so that's active for 2 weeks, but we said we're going to talk about the eclipse, the lunar, the full moon, which is towards the end. And of course, the full moon, and part of the full moon configuration that's going to affect you is this grand trine that I wanted to speak about. But there is another, the pivotal point of this full moon is the moon, of course. And look at it. The moon is here. So it's making a kite formation. You see how it looks like a kite? So the major players, they're making a grand trine, and the moon is making a kite. And there is no other intervening negative aspects, I think the Venus is square Pluto, but that's about it. So basically, we have amazing harmonious energy, and so what happens when the kite is formed? So this red line happens. The red line is stress, but when we have just blue lines, it becomes inert energy, because it's like you're in things are flowing. You don't have to make an effort, so we can become lazy and stuff. But when the kite is formed, something triggers us, because we need some red aspects as well. So more difficult, grinding aspect to push us into action. Otherwise, we kind of can get into too content, and not do anything about it. We can just sit and watch TV all day long and just feel like, oh, I feel great, but that's not life changing, So the red aspects is what pushes us a little bit out of our comfort zone, like retrograde planets does. But this time, because it's all surrounded by positive aspects, so it's just basically this red aspect, this full moon will bring out the amazing harmonious potential of perfection, because the triangle is perfection. God is, the God Trinity is in a state that doesn't need anything. It's perfection. So this kind of inspirational energy is there, but the full moon is tapping into it by creating this opposition here, so we can actually put it into action. This inspiration, this healing energy that the grand trine is making, the stabilizing and beautifully harmonious alignment of planets. Because you see, most of the time when we do videos about astrology, we're telling, oh, this day is crap, this is very inharmonious. Rarely there's such harmonious days. And actually, as I said, it will affect you for 2 weeks. It will affect us all for 2 weeks after that, because it's happening right on the full moon. So it's almost like the universe and angelic hierarchies are saying, okay, we pushed you to the extreme this summer. Now we're going to give you healing. This full moon is going to bring healing, and it's going to bring rewards, because full moons are about seeing the results of hard work. What is it? It's full. The light can't get more. It's perfection. It's grown to the biggest where it can go. So now we're picking the fruits. And this full moon, and there will be great fruits, and they'll come easy to us because of this. Well, easy, but we worked very hard for them in the last few months, a lot of you. But now you're like, okay, I can enjoy the results of those efforts. So, okay, it's all starting to heal. The next 2 weeks will be, or 3 weeks even, from the end of this that we're talking about on. So will be so much, like they start aligning, things start aligning one after another like a fairy tale. Or at least they calm down and they become healing and easy and more peaceful. Of course, we have a last week of Mars being retrograde, so it's still pressing our buttons to around the 26th. 27th, but then is the full moon on the 26th towards the end of the week, and its influences are felt for 2 more weeks after that. So we no longer have Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, no eclipses. Mars is not making any crazy aspects for this time. So 2 weeks after the 26th, guys, or even I would say from the middle of this week that it's coming, we're like cruising, and we're going to start, it's kind of start, getting more magical and more easy and more. Don't we need that? We needed it out during the holiday, but now we're starting going back to work, everyone, this Virgo season, and but this is when things start aligning and becoming easier. But this full moon, the moon is, if you can see here, at 3 degrees in Pisces. Look at my high tech. 3 degrees Pisces is forma halt, the keeper of the gate on the south. Is it the south? Something like that. So there are 4 royal stars in the sky, and they correspond to the 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, and basically they correspond to the 4 royal stars, and one of them is formal halt, which is in the constellation of the water bearer. This is where the water is pouring out, the water, the living water, it's known. And it's known as knowledge, where the gods gave us knowledge so we can improve our life here on earth. So this is living water. This is the word of God as well. This is the testament from God. Basically, the water bearer and that star, formal is connected to words that we hear, which uplift and feed our soul and and uplift humanity on the whole. So on a personal level, and it's connected to Archangel Gabriel. Who was Gabriel? He was the messenger to Virgin Mary that Christed being is going to be born to her. Basically, a solar being, a being of much higher evolution than us, will contract 17 million times in power. Esoteric sources know that. So it can uplift the vibration of the whole earth. And he was also Archangel Gabriel, and sometimes it's she, that announced to the shepherds that a Christed being is coming, the Christed being. And Archangel Gabriel announced to Daniel in the Old Testament, in a vision, in a dream. Archangel Gabriel gives us messages in dreams or through messengers of some sort. And they're divine messages. Often they're the messages of a big mission. So this full moon is basically putting this amazing light. So it's like the full moon is like a beam of light, and it says, ta-da! This is what's happening in the universe. So for you, for your personal experience on Earth. Now we're gonna get messages. Archangel Gabriel will be extremely active this next 2 weeks. So messages and words of upliftment and of empowerment. Archangel Gabriel is the archangel of empowerment as well. So empowerment, especially through words, through finding some important information, or by being given a mission, because Archangel Gabriel would go in and say, okay, you have a mission to be the mother of the Christ. I don't know how happy I'll be scared, or you have a mission to lead my people out of the lands of slavery. So Archangel Gabriel appeared to Mohammed, I think, and gave him the mission to create the Islamic religion. So sometimes it gives us some really heavy things that we have to do, some scary missions, but basically, this is the living God, the living word of God is in the Formahold, in the constellation of the water bearer, where the water is falling down. That's the water of knowledge, of wisdom, the word of God. So God will be talking to us. It might be in our dreams. It might be through some messenger. Watch out for that for the next 2 weeks. 3 weeks, Actually, it's very healing because it's in Pisces, the tropical zodiac of Pisces. So something will come to us that's more magical, that's healing. And of course, Pisces rules sleeping and dreams as well. So in our dreams, we can receive some powerful messages, or some powerful healing can be happening. But Archangel Gabriel is going to be working through this in powerful, very smooth and harmonious way. So how is it going to, what are you going to manifest? Full moon is a manifestation. If you're Aries, the full moon is happening in your 12th house. So again, your dream life, extremely powerful intuition. Aries, pay attention. You get answers in your dreams or just psychically somehow. Even if you're like me and you need to be hit by a brick to get any psychic intuition. I don't think I'm psychic, but I receive inspirations from the invisible world, like just fully formed ideas sometimes, or something like that can happen now, or something that's been, you can receive some inspiration, some communication from higher powers. Remember, Gabriel is a messenger. The star, the full moon is happening on the star of Gabriel. Some message from departed loved ones, from invisible world, or some powerful words of wisdom or inspiration. Something comes as a vision to you about something you have to do, but you download this information. And it can be 12 hours about completing something, ending something, seeing the results of something, and also taking a break, resting. Maybe that's and healing. Maybe that's what exactly you need, the completion of some healing process, or the spiritual realization of something. It's kind of intuitively, it opens your third eye opens and you see things from a different perspective, from a much higher perspective. The word of God becomes living in you spiritually. The 12th house is very spiritual. So there will be some powerful spiritual realizations or spiritual healings that are happening, or releases and liberations from something. 12th house about letting go of something, but it's going to happen smooth and easy areas. You're not going to be fighting it. You're not going to be, oh, shall I do it? Shall I not? It will be like, oh, I'm finished with that. I'm done. I'm letting it go. I don't need it. I'm over it. And you feel the living water of the higher powers run through you. The living healing waters of the Formahold and Archangel Gabriel, washing away something unnecessary, 12 houses that we have to leave behind. So if you're Taurus, it's going to be happening the full moon in your 11th house of gains. Well, actually, guys, you can gain something material over the next 2-3 weeks. Maybe some bonus or something. If you've been working hard, because 11th house is the house of efforts that we've been working for a long time, and the rewards of those efforts. So now you can see the material rewards of that. Or some recognition. 11th house is social recognition, that you're recognized for something, that you created a song, or maybe you made a website, or whatever. You've worked towards something, or maybe you got a diploma, and you get some recognition for that. You'll get some reward or some increase, financial gain, very possibly. And the 11th house is the house of your long-term goals, so you can benefit somehow, Taurus. You can see the completion of some long-term goals and dream of yours, because, as I said, this full moon is magical. Perfection, kite, flying high with the kite. It's just the tapping into the divine trine, the perfect trine, and basically making it dynamic and manifesting on the material in easy ways. Then, if you are also friendships, something can happen to you in a positive way, can culminate in a positive, very helping way through a friendship or through some acquaintance. Okay, then if you are Gemini, it's happening in your 10th house, especially Gemini moon or Gemini rising and then sun, but check the three of them. Well, this full moon manifests in your career with authority figures, with bosses, and as I said, message. And 10th house is the house of our highest mission, the house of the highest achievements we can have. So some of you might receive a message from Archangel Gabriel, or basically the word of God, the waters of the Aquarius that we said, where the eclipse is happening, of the water bearer. That happens magically, might be in a dream for some big mission you have to do. Just like Archangel Gabriel announced to Virgin Mary, you're going to give birth to Christ. Well, I don't think this will happen to you, but something similar. You might receive some intuitive or from or like a message from someone, or from a dream, or from, it might be just opening a newspaper, that you receive a message about the mission of yours, about your highest achievements, or about career, or maybe you can receive an answer to some question in regards to, and that in a healing way, in a very helping way, in regards to your career, or in regards to situation connected with authority figures, with institutions, with bosses. You can achieve, maybe you can get a promotion, some of you, because the full moon falls in your 10th house of career. Maybe you can see results of something connected to your career in a positive way, or reputation. Okay, Uh, if you're Cancer, the full moon is happening in your ninth house. Well, guys, the ninth house is our vision for ourselves. What is your vision? What are your plans for yourself? You can receive now in the ninth house, the house through which God talks to us, through signs and omens, through teachers, gurus. It might be even through a normal person that you meet, but they come for a little bit in the role of a guru or a teacher or advisor to us or a life coach. So you might receive some really inspirational advice from someone which solidifies or inspires your vision for your future and for your life. And it might, as I said, it can come through a word, like a word of God. Someone will become a temporary messenger for you from above. Archangel Gabriel messenger, where the full moon is happening on. So temporary messenger who gives you a message about your future, or who gives you a message, or it might be just your higher mind talking to you, or through signs that is telling you something in regards to your vision, in regards to inspiration, in regards to faith, some high ideals and goals as well. And or maybe some teacher can appear, as I said, that can be very benevolent figure or father figure, can be even actually a father in some cases, that helps you in some way and that has a healing influence and that has a manifesting influence for you. And anything to do with foreign countries, passports, legalizing documents in regards to being in foreign countries, anything to do with higher education or pre-qualification. Wow, this can be when it manifests, so you can receive like some powerful inspiration there. Okay, or important message in regards to that, or important positive development. If you're a Cancer, if you're Leo, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, this is happening in your 8th house. Well, you might receive 8 houses connect is very occult house, so they can be almost like an occult information that comes to you. And 8th house on the material level though rules. So there might be some inspiration in regards to astrology, or some deep understanding that you gain in regards to hidden secrets, or it might be some secret that gets illuminated by the light of the moon, but in a way that is harmonious, in a way some hidden information or hidden resources, even it might be money that you are not aware of, or resources, financial, moral, or material that comes to you that you are not aware of, and that comes to you that you can benefit through to fulfill something, to manifest something. Full moon to manifest, fulfill, to complete something. And it can be because, as I said, it's Archangel Gabriel. It can you can ask the Archangel Gabriel if you need resources of some sort and you want to find them, but they have to come to you from another place. You don't have them available. Ask Archangel Gabriel, because this full moon is happening on his star or her star. They're not sex beings, those higher beings. They don't need even physical bodies. The planets or the stars and constellations are their physical bodies. And you will manifest something in regards to help or support that comes to you from others, or something to do with material resources that come or insurances, taxes, business finances of some sort. Or 8th house is a situation of trauma, some big stress, where the 8th house rules divorces and death and sudden transformations and losing one's job, was suddenly something being disrupted. If you had something that was suddenly disrupted, that really shook you up, now actually you can see the positive results of that. Of course, even death, can be so traumatic, but I'm not saying someone will die, but if someone died even a long time in the past and you're still suffering with the trauma of that, and asking why, what's the purpose? Or if you got divorced, and maybe 2-3 years ago, whatever, maybe a few months, or if you broke up with someone, or if you lost a job, all those traumatic experiences, now you will receive a message through the messenger of Archangel Gabriel, through the star of Almahat, where the full moon is happening on. The word of God will explain to you, maybe intuitively, maybe through, you see some development which tells you, okay, and you benefit through that. So something that broke your heart or shook you up now will give a positive result. Or now, as a consequence, maybe you had to you were let out from a job, and you lost your identity without that job, and you had to relocate to another town because you didn't have money, and there you meet the love of your life, and something like that. Maybe not so extreme, but sometimes those big tragic things that shake us up happen so we can be realigned to go on the right path, because something better is waiting for us. Not sometimes, always. Of course, only death we cannot. We have to be on a much higher level to understand it. But so something traumatic you experienced now can actually give you some healing. Now can actually give you an answer why it's happened, or can manifest. All right. So if you are Virgo, it's happening in your seventh house. Oh my God, it's relationships. Can you manifest something through a relationship? Maybe a business partnership, that you can manifest something through a business partner that benefits you in a great way. Or you can manifest a partner if you're single, if you're Virgo rising, or something important like a next stage, a fulfillment of getting full completion of something in regards to relationship, but it's in a positive way, because this full moon is magical, it's positive. And you might even receive a message of inspiration of some sort through the word of God, the living word of the water bearer, because Polmahot is one of the stars of the water bearer. So some kind of healing can come, some kind of enlivening for you through relationships, through partnerships. Something beneficial can come into your life through others, and you can fulfill something through contract or agreement, or promise of some sort, or maybe a promise of some sort will be given to you verbally, because this is the star of the messenger. A messenger of some sort can appear in your life and give you a promise or give you a vision of some sort, but this messenger is from God. It's from your higher, it's Archangel Gabriel is working through them. It might give you something about the mission in life, or about your, but somehow it happens through another person. It happens through, because the seventh house is other people. So this is how we can benefit through this full moon if you're Virgo. So if you're Libra, it's happening in your sixth house. So you can manifest something in regards positive, in regards to your work. Maybe you can find a job. Maybe if you've worked on some project, now you can complete it and get great results in an easy way. Maybe you can receive an important message in regards to, Archangel Gabriel, the messenger, in regards to your work. Or maybe you can receive an important message in regards to your health, or living. The Falmahout is the most spiritual star as well, so spiritual help in regards to your and information in particular. Falmahout and Gabriel is about giving information that if you had some health problems, you can get an answer about it for the next couple of weeks. So good stuff, guys. Okay, if you are Scorpio, it's happening in your fifth house. Well, that's love life. You can manifest a good love experience, for example. You can manifest rejuvenation, because this is the living water. You've heard about the living water that they speak in the Bible and in different religions. The living water is that star of the constellation where the full moon is happening in. It's in the star in the sign of Pisces, which is very healing. So living water comes to us through some romantic experience, or we get enlivened and healed through some kind of pleasant experience. Fifth house is enjoying something, holiday, party, some creative hobby, something that you really love and are passionate about, but it comes to you easy, without complications. You enjoy it. It might be a romantic relationship. You feel enlivened through the waters of, it's kind of like, and fifth house is creative inspiration. So there can be like a flowing of creative inspiration that happens for you, that intensifies for a couple of weeks. You can feel like you're walking on a cloud. You can feel like you're basically, the living water of God is running through you. And if you've had creative blocks, this full moon can unblock them, and things can start flowing from you. You can even receive a message and inspiration in regards to something connected to creative projects. It might be a business project or something, but that you are responsible for that idea, and that it involves imagination, something a bit creative. Or it's also your children. Some of you can get a message or forewarning about the coming pregnancy or coming child in the family. Just like Archangel Gabriel announced to the shepherds and to Mother Mary. So fifth house about children, or maybe something important in a positive way can manifest in the life of your child. It can give positive results, and maybe your child can receive some award, or it can be, it can make you proud in some way, or it can. Oh, that's so good. I should. No, that's for Scorpio rising. Okay, don't have Scorpio risings that have children, but somehow you start enjoying yourself more. This full moon brings joy, happiness, fifth house, entertainment. You can find a new hobby creatively. You can be more inspired, and some creative thing can, you can receive also a message about impending, or in your dreams even. Archangel Gabriel appears in dreams about coming love, or about coming joy or happiness or good news of some sort. Okay, so if you are Sagittarius, the full moon is happening in your fourth house. Yes, so something good in regards to your family, in regards to parenthood, in regards to your parents or you as a parent, or in regards to home or property or place of living, some manifestation. Some of you might complete renovating a house. Some of you might find the resources to change something in their garden or house. So something that you want for your family, it happens in an easy way. You receive some support, some help there, or in regards to personal life or property or place of living, all those conditions. Plus some message can come to you, and they can be like a re-enlivening of through the living water that the water bearer is pouring, and through this very and healing energy as well in the sign of Pisces that comes in regards to situations regarding your finances, situations regarding your home, property, family, parents, mother, emotional healing. Fourth house is emotional healing as well, and feeling just more anchored in your own body, and feeling um, fourth house it gives us different kind of joy than the fifth house. It gives us a joy of, I feel secure and I'm content and peaceful. Fifth house is like, yeah. Anyway, so Capricorn for you, the full moon, this magical full moon is happening in the third house. Well, maybe you can benefit in a strong way, Capricorn, through someone, through a colleague, through a workmate, through a neighbor. Maybe there will be a messenger to you of some sort about a bigger mission, or about something, just like Gabriel was a messenger about some higher mission. It doesn't have to be saving the world. It might be about doing a PowerPoint presentation, but this is your next mission that you're given from. And if you get like a wind about that, or a message about that, this is the right thing, because Gabriel announces things that are from God only, that are for the best and for the higher, and that leads us on the right path. So maybe third house is commercial business activities, writing, speaking, traveling, communications. Something positive is going to happen around those things, and it's the right thing, and it's going to make you feel more alive and enlivened. Oh, with people that are neighbors, relatives, all those things, workmates, mates. It's also house of friendships. So this is where a good thing. Or if you're planning and organizing something, you can see it manifested. You can see the results of it in a harmonious, wonderful way. If you're planning some journey as well, it can manifest now. All right. And if you're, who's it, Capricorn? If you're Aquarius, it's happening in your second house. Oh, let's see. Materially, guys, you can manifest. You can manifest financially, materially, better this time over the next 2 weeks. If you've worked hard on something, now you can see the full results of that. And if you have not worked hard, you'll see the results of whatever. But you can get something that beautiful that you've wanted, something that you consider valuable, something that you consider it is material and it's tangible. It's not just like, oh, a beautiful message. No, it is actually material. So it's it's manifest in a positive, wonderful way, and it's stimulating to give results materially, financially of some sort. And to stabilize, the second house is also family, and it's your kind of your how stable do you feel in your family life as well. It's very similar to the fourth house, but in different ways. One is emotional, one is more like the material circumstances around your family. Is there chaos or no? So they'll be calming down, or they'll be healing there, or they'll be manifesting psychological satisfaction and stability materially more, and things like, become more um, as you'd want them. They become more supportive there. Okay. And last but not least, it's Pisces, and the full moon is happening in your sign. Pisces, you're the bearer of this magic anyway. And the constellation of the water bearer is behind you, Pisces. Even though you're Pisces sign, the constellation of the water bearer is behind you. That's why Pisces is currently in this age the most spiritual sign, because actually the very most spiritual constellation with the most spiritual star from a halt, where the full moon is happening in, is currently behind Pisces. So souls of a very spiritual level are being born through in the current ages, which continue for another 1,000 years, are being born through Pisces. That's why we call them the most spiritual. But you guys are the bearer of some message. You will be the messenger for someone, just like Gabriel was. You receive some very important message, and you would give some very important message, some information, just like Gabriel, which actually can change the direction of your life. And as we said, Gabriel goes and announces only missions from God. So missions from your higher self, something that leads you on the right path to fulfillment and happiness. And it's not going to be something small, just like, for example, for Capricorns, that they might do some commercial transaction, and because of that day, But no, for you, it's going to be actually possibly for the direction of your whole life, that you receive some important news, that you receive some important message from someone, that you receive the support of Archangel Gabriel. And it might be even a bit shocking, because it might take you out of your comfort zone, because Gabriel, or the star from a heart, it's so powerful. It's so spiritual. It does not give us trifling stuff. And it's very creative star as well. So it might be something creative, or it might be about helping something, or about a bigger vision for your life. And it might not be very easy as well. But you'll get a whiff of that, and things, or you can start even manifesting in that direction. But on a positive level, expect that you're the center of attention for the next 2 weeks, because it's the full moons are always about somehow you become prominent, somehow you become, just like the moon when it's full, wow, it grabs your attention. But it happens in a very easy way. So if you have to do some public performance, if you have to be in center attention of some sort, which is first house, if you have to do some initiatives, they're very positive for you. And they will happen almost like without too much effort. They'll align for you. So any important activities, events, and they can be also a realignment of your plans for the next 5 months, because full moons in one signs, they make us reconsider, okay, what's not working, what's working, okay, this is what I'm gonna change. But it comes in a very natural way for you, Pisces, smoothly, so to speak. It's without like frustration so much. Okay, so you the most strong beneficent of this full moon, this magical healing full moon. Actually, if you're Pisces, you definitely have to watch the intro when I speak about the full moon, somewhere in the middle, because it applies fully for you. All right, there we go, guys. Interesting month. The month has been interesting. The week is starting to become so much better towards the end, and then the next 2 weeks, wow, even Mars turns direct. So good news. I'm your Archangel Gabriel. The new good news now. And hopefully things that will normalize now, I'll be doing every week a weekly. And I won't be able to do the monthlies for September, guys. It's just been too crazy. Mars is still retrograde. My baby's like, it's like, I don't know, like from the Bible, the Noah or someone that everything was taken from him. He's covered in scabs and bites and 10 diseases. He's just and he's just screaming, and he has teeth coming out, and we have to keep him in isolation. So anyway, so yes, so that's why I'm not gonna do the September ones, but I'll do the October ones. And just to let you know, I'm doing only 48-hour sales of my love course, which is $200. I'm selling it only for $50, guys. Sorry, only for $100, 50% off. And that's a course that has 60 hours of videos, in depth, Vedic and Western astrology. So I'm selling it only for $100. It's 4 years or 5 years old, but the information is it's still great. You're not gonna find a lot of this information online. So Vedic and Western, so you can combine both systems for best results. Thank you so much, and start enjoying the better times that are coming.